As a common citizen, it is consistently thought that we do not have. Fuck me, the chair does not move. As a common citizen, it is almost imperative for me to espouse this onto you. We are all citizens, I'm assuming. We are all citizens. Nobody here is a government official. I ain't got no FBI agents watching me. And if you are an op, it's fuck ops, it's fuck 12, ACAB. You know the deal. How would I, if I were president or if I had weight, how would I control this situation? I look at it from a few standpoints. One, I have to close down businesses, and that means all businesses. Stop thinking about just restaurants as being small businesses. We're talking bookshops. We're talking bookshops, comic shops. We're talking even smaller eateries, cafes. We're talking clothing stores. We're talking electronics manufacturers. If I've got to shut all this down, here's what I would do. I would take every outstanding debt, and push that to the back end of the loan. Just move it to the back. Put, let's say 6 months. For the next 6 months, you don't pay rent. You don't do any of that. I'm gonna move that money to the back end of the loan because you're gonna get your money, you greedy fucks. But like pushing all that to the end, and I mean that for everybody. Rent, any type of rent, any type of outstanding debt. There is no money circulating. The economy is shut down. Therefore, I cannot expect people to still do the same things that they were doing before. Okay, now you're saying, well, how are people supposed to make money if they have to stay at home? I mean, their businesses are. I pay them to stay home. I pay everybody more than they would have made at any point in that year. That way you feel comfortable enough to save, and when we're out of the pandemic, you can start investing. You could start up a new business. You can make your business bigger. You can use that money to forward your advertising revenue. You could use that money to buy things that you wouldn't normally enjoy. Anything to get you to have a reason to stay at home. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, there were essential workers that were paying. We're giving them raises. Every day you go out, you could contract the coronavirus and die. Therefore, I feel like I owe you a little extra bread for making the effort to go out. Because you could be like one of those people who says, fuck it, I'm not going to go out there and contract the virus for $12 an hour. What the hell is my life worth? What if I contract the virus on hour two? I made $24. Ooh, I could buy a Subway sandwich. I'm so glad about that. That's the people side. That's the business side. As far as the government is concerned, look, as long as people are inside, crimes are going down. This is going down. That's going down. Take this time for infrastructure rebuilding. Let's start funding projects that we didn't have the time for because people were out. We couldn't be doing that. All right, let's get new buildings up. We want to talk about tackling the homeless problem. Let's now that there aren't millions of people just walking around, now we can target the homeless, and we can start putting up shelters for them. We can start opening up buildings. Like hotels aren't being allowed to book people or whatever, so we can start putting homeless people in there. We can use these as intermittent stay at home. Like there's so many options to what we could be doing as a nation to not only have finished this and be past it and be bigger and better, but we could have built on top of this to, oh, this is a break in our system. We could use this to make life better for people so that way when they come out of the pandemic, it's not the same old status quo issues that we've been dealing with. But they refuse to do that. Now, obviously, that's fucking obvious. But now we have to devise the reason why they won't do that. And that is more obvious than not, so I'm not going to give you the so obvious answer. The so obvious answer is obviously, now I've used the word obvious 8 times, is clearly money. There are a lot of corporate donors. There are a lot of federal there's a lot of, let's put it this way, there's a lot of corporate donors that have a lot of special interests, and they'll do anything in their power to not allow the flow of money to be broken. They're finding any way to make any type of money off of this pandemic, whether that's jacking up prices for certain things. Remember when the Switch went like out of like stock like the moment the pandemic started? I remember how I felt walking around during that day, and I was like, damn, yo, this shit really real. Damn, what am I gonna do to entertain myself? How am I gonna stay at home? Like, what am I gonna do? This shit don't feel normal to me. And I hate that people use children as a shield. Oh, our children need to go back into schools, Oh, this, that, and the other. Like, I could attack that. I could attack how our infrastructure in teaching and education was so weak that oh, kids can't learn remote. They need attention and they need to be with their friends. And I'm like, but you subject college kids to that shit every time because you understand it's too hard to not be mad. It's literally too hard to sorry. Had the hiccup. It's literally too hard for me not to be angry because every time we seem to have an infrastructure issue, we blame it on the people in the infrastructure and not the people who set up said infrastructure. Oh, our kids need remote learning. All right, don't give them low grade Chromebooks and expect them to have to pay for Wi Fi and internet. Yo, cable companies. Everybody needs Wi Fi. We literally do not exist in a world right now where we can not be connected to the internet. So, everybody, we're giving moratoriums on your bills. Tell them I said hi and tell them that I said, you have an amazing person for a offspring. You got to say it like that, though, because if you don't say it like that, they're going to be like, it seems nice. I want them to think because, I'm going to have to meet the fam one day. Anyway, yo, just stop. Like, stop using people as shields to deflect from the fact that you know that corporate interest is literally stealing everything from you. Literally stealing everything from you. And you don't have power against that. You have to oh my god, okay. On this pivoting into what could have people done? People could have heeded the fucking warning. The whole reason why we're in this issue right now and the reason why we haven't even begun to come out of the pandemic is because people want to live in their own. The government can't tell me what to do. And it's like, it's a suggestion. Oh, the lockdowns are terrible. We shouldn't be locking down. And you be complaining about, I can't go outside. I can't go anywhere. In a video where you're outside at the place where you said you couldn't go. So the cognitive dissonance on everything leads me back to say, well, as leaders, we could have avoided these problems by simply addressing every single concern that was going to crop up by us making these moves. So that way people didn't feel like they had to take the power into their own hands. Because when they do and they're not informed and they're not intelligent, they end up spiraling out of control into believing like, yeah, I don't think that this is right either, which leads them to this point, which leads them to that point. And at 4 a.m. they watching, did you know that lizards have actually taken over the government and Trump is a deep state operative setting his sights on Washington, D.C. to eliminate these reptiles and clean the government of the alien interference? Like, what? No way. No way. No way. Man, I could spend hours on this. There is no way on God's green earth that the answers to the issues that we're having in this country right now can't simply be done. I don't give a about money. Money is an and yo, okay, economics, right? If you print money, money's worthless. So obviously you can't do that. What I used to say is how do you know that? And I don't mean government. I don't mean economic specialists. Obviously they know how to track like these things and like you can't have $10 trillion bills out there because it's just not going to work. How would you know if your dollar was worth less or more? All you can compare it to is the rising costs of standard basic living. Therefore, you don't have a reference beyond your expenses as to how much your money can buy. So if all the prices dropped, you'd feel richer. The companies would sell more, get more money. So like, okay, so let's say a loaf of bread costs $1, right? $1.01 means that they'll gain more profit, but it might be too expensive for that extra 1 cent for like, I'm doing a Ben Shapiro thing. Let's say 20% of the population. So you lose out on 1/5 of your revenue, but you gain a penny more for the 80% that's there. I'm sure in some form or fashion of that math that will eventually add up to they make more profit than not. But if it went down to 99 cents, you would lose a cent for every single customer, but you would gain back that 20%. You only know your money's worth by what you can buy with it. So why don't you give people money so they can buy more with it and at least keep that engine rolling? But you refuse to do that, which causes people to go into hysteria mode. I don't have money. I don't have time to do anything. So I'm going to do as little as I can. And that means I'm going to end up watching Steven Crowder and like, wow, he's right. The government did fuck me on that one. So I'm not. Ah! Ridiculous. So the end of this segment will tell you. I'll summarize and get you to the point. We could have done more. A lot of government officials chose not to do more. A lot of government officials decided to side with Trump and the fact that it's not that bad. And now we're all having to walk back our statements because you all are fucking stupid for believing in these people. And for some reason you still do, even though every day you find out more and more that they were lying to you, and they get called out on it repeatedly over and over again. And for some reason you just don't care. You just don't care. And why you don't care, maybe that's the fault of the government not providing enough for you, but yet at the same point you're like, I don't want a government handout. Give me a stimmy check then. And I'm talking to you. Give me a stimmy check. You don't like socialism, right? Don't call the fire department. Matter of fact, since you all, I love the police, the thin blue line. Don't call police when a black person is walking through the neighborhood. Don't call police when you think you're being followed by a threatening black man in a park, even though, you're the one harassing him. Don't call anything that has anything to do with socialism. It's socialism. Yeah, that's the point. Everybody thinks it's socialism when it's not. That's the point. That's the entire point. Like, everybody thinks it's communism when it's not. Everybody thinks it's socialism when it's not. We got bread lines in America, and we still live in a capitalist society. Bye-bye.